If we could start with your team news. Firstly, Murillo, how is he? Is he available?
He's still a doubt. Sort of did some individual work today. We'll give him a little bit more time. So he's still a little bit sore. It's just a matter of whether he can cope with that. So we'll delay the decision, but he's a doubt.
Is that a concern? It feels like he could be a key player for you this season.
Yeah, but, that's the nature of the business we're in. You're always going to get some disruptions along the way. Thankfully, it's nothing too serious. So, if he doesn't make tomorrow, he should definitely be right for Wednesday.
Any other changes to the players you've got available?
No, health-wise, everyone else is okay. Nico Dominguez is hopefully getting reintegrated into full team training next week, which would be great for him as well and great for us to get him back in the squad.
In terms of everything you and the club are looking to achieve, how much of a setback was that result on Wednesday night?
I don't think, it's just disappointing in a game where, we did so many good things that we just sort of let the game get away from us and, you exit a competition where, you could potentially, have some success in. But again, that's just part of the process we're in at the moment. And, I know the players were disappointed with, the way we handled the last sort of 10, 15 minutes of the game, and we've paid the sort of ultimate price for it. That's what happens in cup competitions. But, flip side of that, there was still some positive aspects to our play, which I think are also important.
Ahead of that game, you talked about us seeing some of the principles on the pitch. How do you think the players did with that?
Yeah, I thought there was. There was plenty of evidence that, they were taking information on board. There was certainly an endeavour for us to be more aggressive with the ball, without the ball. I mean, I think we created as many chances as you probably could in a game like that away from home. And, I thought our defensive work, apart from the last 15 minutes, like I said, was excellent. We really limited them to very little. So that's why it was a sort of difficult game to analyse, because there was a lot of positive stuff that came out of it, but ultimately you've lost the game that cost you progress.
So what are you demanding further from the players against Burnley? What more do you need to see?
It's not about demands. It's, the players, like I said, are aware of, why we weren't able to get the right outcome on Wednesday night. But, for us, it's just about continuing to instill the principles of our game and use every game an opportunity to build those foundations. I think the players have already shown a willingness to adapt to what we want them to do, and but alongside the football, you got to have the right mentality. And I think Wednesday night was a stark reminder for us that we want to play a certain way, but within that, you've also got to have the right mentality to win games.
How important is this game? I mean, you've only been at the club just over a week, but do you feel pressure to deliver results just so any narrative over your arrival, there isn't any negativity surrounding that?
No, I think there's been negativity around my arrival since I got to the Premier League, so that's kind of the constant space I'm in. So, no, look, it's not about me. Like you said, I think it is important we win on Saturday, not for me to ease the pressure or anything, but, we've lost the last two games in the Premier League, and, in the Premier League that every game is tough, so, you don't want to sort of be in a position where you haven't won because then you start chasing the game a little bit. So, we've got to try and make amends after two poor Premier League results to try and get points on the board and start moving us in the right direction on the table.
Thanks, Ange.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ivan for PLP.
Ange, nice to see you.
You too.
You've had to hit the ground running, 4 away games, meeting a new squad, a lot to put together. How has that been for you?
Exciting. I mean, look, I knew sort of when, you kind of assess these things before you make a decision, but I knew I was sort of, heading into that, like I said, with 4 away games, on the trot and challenging ones at that. But you also know it's a great opportunity for us to, like I said, embed some principles. Ultimately, irrespective of the program we had, what was key for me is that we try to implement everything we want to implement, but not forsaking the most important thing in that is getting results in our games, because the season's already started. It's not like we've got time to build this. So that's the challenge, but I love that. It's exciting. It certainly, it's pushing me. It's pushing all the coaches and new coaches. It's pushing the players for us to gel as quickly as possible and make sure we start bringing positive results.
Clearly there were some great foundations here already after the season Forest had last year. So having had a bit more time to get to know the setup, the staff, the players particularly, what are you making of what's here?
Yeah, no, it's a pretty sort of accurate assessment. It's a very solid foundation, some fantastic people working at the club, in the football department, but also around the club in terms of the organisation, and you can see why the club has sort of grown steadily over the last few years because there's quality people there, and that's been brilliant for me because probably would have been a lot more challenging coming in at this point if there was some sort of disconnect between me and the existing staff. But they've been so supportive and good people and smart people, which I think has helped us speed up the process of getting the information we need to the players and changing the environment. And as I said, the players have been great. You can already tell that it's a good dressing room. They're very united as a group. Obviously, there is a lot of new players this year. But that's been a bit of a constant at Forest as well. There's a lot of new players, and again, the new players have adapted really well. So, I think that sort of has allowed me to hopefully accelerate the way we, grow because, as you said, there's already a very good foundation there.
And you're setting out on the first European week for Forest this season, and you know all about those weeks. What do you bring here then with your learnings, if you like, of how you manage this domestic plus European situation for a club that haven't experienced that?
Yeah, look, you're right, and I thoroughly enjoyed last year, and I had 2 years with Celtic where we were in Europe as well. So, it's a great experience. Playing away from home, different environments, different cultures, different styles of football. It's very challenging, and it can test you in many ways, physically, mentally. We didn't get back from Swansea pretty late the other night, but as I said to the players, that'll be sort of our routine now. Coming back from Europe, you come back late, early hours, and then you've got a game within 48 hours, and you've got to use every minute of the day to make sure recovery, mentally, physically, for the next challenge. But just being part of it is genuinely exciting. Even for me as a manager, because you go from the Premier League where most of the things are known to a little bit of the unknown. You're playing maybe an opponent you haven't played before or play totally differently from anyone else. So it's really exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Last one from me, just a quick one about Burnley. Turf Moor has not been an easy place for anybody to go for the last 15 months. They've lost one game there in that time, and that was Liverpool late on. So hardly the easiest of tests.
No, absolutely. Look, there isn't any easy test in the Premier League now. I think that's pretty evident. Scott's done a brilliant job. Since he went to Burnley, taking over from Vincent, and teams have come up, have gone back down, but the challenge is, can they go back up there? And he did that last year, and he did it really impressively. A couple of the staff members I've had have worked with Scott in the past and said he's a fantastic person, a great coach. I love the fact that he's tested himself overseas. He went to Club Brugge, so he looks like a real smart guy, and he's got him set up really well. Like I said, I watched the Liverpool game last week, and it took right till the last minute, and we know how good Liverpool are. So absolutely a tough test, but I think the Premier League, that's what it gives you every week. There's always something challenging you need to overcome.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, bud.
Thanks, Ivan. Natalie, BBC.
Hi, Ange. Good to see you.
Sure.
Igor Jesus got his first couple of goals, and he had a cheeky smile on his face. He looked like he really enjoyed it. What's he like? Will he get his first Premier League start perhaps tomorrow?
Igor was great the other night. He had a little bit of a niggle. It's why I left him out on the weekend, and we weren't sure how he'd go, so it was always a plan to play him 45. He played in the World Club Championships, and a lot of players who played in the World Club Championships are picking up injuries at the moment. So, I think with him, we've just got to be really careful about how we sort of reintegrate him. But he was great the other night. he's such a hard worker. I mean, you know, that first goal he scored, he got clattered on the halfway line, and it would have been easy for him to sort of stay down and roll around, but he just got straight back up because he could sniff a goal, and I thought he was excellent the other night, and looking forward to working with him. Like I said, he's a real hard worker, willing worker, and I think for all the disappointment on Wednesday night, there was some massive positives. He was one for sure. I think the way the new players are now beginning to integrate, backward Calamiendo, McAtee, Hutchinson, young Jay, I was really impressed with. They're all sort of now have had that first taste, and with plenty of games on the horizon, they'll get plenty of opportunities.
Have you been able to take those positive aspects that you're talking about onto the training field this week and sort of, really work on them with the boys? Have you had more time to do that? Yeah,
look, obviously yesterday was recovery, but for the guys who played, but we still had, some significant members of the team training, Elliot and Morgan trained again, and Milenkovic and Neko and Matt Sell. So, we had a good training group yesterday. We did some really good work. Obviously, those boys who missed out on Wednesday night were gutted to miss out and not be able to help. So they were champing at the bit to train and contribute. And then we had a good session today. So we're constantly building on it. And I think, like I said, after the sort of Arsenal game, I knew with 2 days of training, we'd start begin to see some principles of our play, which I thought we did on Wednesday night, and hopefully we see more of that tomorrow.